For yourselves know perfectly that the day of Yahuah so comes as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. 1 Thessalonians 5:2-3. But you, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. You are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. 1 Thessalonians 5:4-6. Son of man, speak to the children of your people, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon a land, if the people of the land take a man of their coasts, and set him for their watchman, if when he sees the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and ward the people, then whosoever hears the sound of the trumpet and takes not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. He heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning, his blood shall be upon him. But he that takes warning shall deliver his soul. But if the watchman see the sword come, and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hand. So you, O son of man, I have set you a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore you shall hear the word at my mouth, and warn them from me. When I say unto the wicked, O wicked man, you shall surely die, if you do not speak to ward the wicked from his way, that wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at your hand. Nevertheless, if you ward the wicked of his way to turn from it, if he do not turn from his way, he shall die in his iniquity, but you have delivered your soul. Ezekiel 33:2-9. Shalom. While you were sleeping, who turned out the lights? 1 Corinthians 15:20-23 says, but in fact, Mashiach has been raised from the dead, the first fruits of those who have fallen asleep. For as by a man came death, by a man has come also the resurrection of the dead. For as in Adam all die, so also in Mashiach shall all be made alive, but each in his own order, Mashiach the first fruits. Then at his coming those who belong to Yahusha. Preface. After reading and studying the introduction to the series while you were sleeping, I strongly recommend that you follow, review, and study the lessons entitled The Truth Regarding the Garden of Eden, Part 1, and The Truth Regarding Outside the Garden of Eden, The Beast and the False Prophets, 666, which will shed light on what you thought you knew but didn't know at all. This will assist you in the information provided throughout this series and will make you kick yourself and gnash your teeth for not knowing what you should have known before the physical manifestation thereof. While studying this content, you will learn the definition of truth and what the truth always was and is, along with how lies are manufactured from the truth to keep mankind in bondage and enslaved to Satan and his vices. All while you were sleeping. You will also discover when the truth was made available to you and the collective body, and what you or your ancestors did or did not do to obtain the truth. You will discover how you and or your ancestors couldn't handle the truth until the day of judgment, when one will have nowhere to turn because you were left desolate by all that was taught to you by false teachers, preachers, blood relatives, governments, and friends as you blindly believed them. You will learn and realize that during the time of all of the lies and deception that you were fast asleep in spiritual darkness and may not have awakened in time to prevent the judgment assessed against you. Hopefully, you will see and understand the judgment against you will be irrefutable judgment that will expose you to yourself and to the masses, and vice versa. Additionally, you will see how and why the scriptures declare that the truth will make you free and will awaken you from the nightmare of lies and deception to bring you back into the one truth of our Creator, Yahuah, through awareness, consciousness. In this body of work, you will learn what we as part of the Yahudim learned, encountered, and endured regarding the truth of our Creator and one true Elohim, Yahuah, all taking place while many were fast asleep. These hard-to-endure truths were the beginning of the roadmap to the kingdom promises that our Creator, Yahuah, promised his chosen people. These very truths uncover and reveal the deep, dark secrets and lies of this world, World Age 2, and reveal the mysteries of the kingdom, the world to be, the kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. I'm prayerful you will discover the truth was always in reach via the unadulterated word of the Most High, via the scriptures, but you either didn't study to show yourself approved by worshiping our Creator, Yahuah, in spirit and in truth, seeking him when he can be found, else you are a lover of lies and chose to believe in what was taught to you by the adversary. While many teachings, traditions, and practices may not have made sense to you, many of you chose to be blindly deceived and believe in the lies as you saw with your natural senses, the benefit of following the lies, workers of iniquity, lawlessness, and ignoring the truth to be part of the masses. You will acquire the knowledge of what the remnant went through during the time of the end, during the great tribulation that many of you are still awaiting to occur in the future. The remnant woke up on time and in season, which was already written as we began to see. Now you will see that we went through the process of unraveling, untwisting, unsealing, and revealing of the adulterated word to get to the unadulterated word, precept upon precept, line upon line, and worship the Most High Yahuah in spirit and in truth. For those of us that found it, it was like a treasure that only led us closer to our Creator, Yahuah, and to collect on the covenant promises that Yahuah promised. Our desire is and was to walk in truth and spirit and truth, to learn of and be with our Creator, Yahuah, and not continue to live in the world of falsities, fallacies, lies, and deception that led us further away from our one true Creator. I discuss how we wrestled with the word as the true meaning of Hebrew Israelites of Jacob's seed, and used the scriptures as our only weapon of defense as we armored ourselves with the whole armor of Yahuah to battle the horrific spiritual warfare and the wiles and deception of the evil one that the entire world could not see, as they were in complete darkness, totally asleep and unaware. You will learn how the remnant of the Yahudim had to give up this world and continue to run the race by faith and not by sight to make it into the kingdom before the door shuts, thereby locking us out of Yahuah's house. I personally did not want to undergo Yahuah's wrath of judgment, all because I did not want to operate wisely to see and deal with the truth. After all, it is what it is, the truth, and it's not going to change. Now the remnant of us, scattered throughout the globe, unknown to one another, except in very small numbers, discovered what many of you have yet to discover before the natural manifestation thereof. Those of us who were wise discovered via the scriptures that we and you will come full circle from where we were before we all went to sleep. Did you know when you were sleeping? We, the remnant of the Yahudim, woke up and saw the whole world still fast asleep. Understand this. The very purpose of each of us being put to sleep was to test your spirit of Adam with your spirit of Eve in darkness and use the truth, Yahuah's word, as your only method to fight on the battlefield, to wake up from the horrific nightmare and make it back to the Garden of Eden, now as the kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. The Garden of Eden, or kingdom on earth, calling the end from the beginning, will be the manifestation of the truth that you knew not, that follows Judgment Day, that reveals who were still fast asleep as they knew not the truth regarding your Creator, his Son, and his second advent as spoken by the prophets of old and new, yet we were ignored and rejected. You will now see that the remnant only tried to awaken you from the nightmare so that you would inherit and experience the Most High in his fullness, with all of the rewards and benefits of a prophet's reward, without having to undergo Yahuah's wrath of judgment. You still have an opportunity to ensure that you are with your Creator by obeying his laws and statutes, never forsaking him again, and remain in him and preach the true gospel of the one true and living Alua Yahuah, and receive a righteous man's reward. Now, before you fell fast asleep, the beginning the truth. To fully grasp and comprehend truth, you must first know how truth is defined. The essence of truth is actual, factual, irrefutable, and absolute. Truth doesn't derive from anything because it is the derivation, root, source, and foundation to what can come from it. There is absolutely nothing before truth. Truth is the beginning, and truth will always be the end, which further substantiates Yahuah is Aleph and Tav, Genesis and Revelations. Now, having defined truth, you should be able to reasonably assess that many things can come from the truth, but the truth cannot come from anything else, as it is the source. Truth is beautiful, powerful, and righteous, as it is the source of all that is. Now, when truth is tampered with, tainted, twisted, perverted, and malformed, it creates untruth, also referred to as lies, falsities, wickedness, and evil. Lies are the opposite of truth, as it is negatively disruptive, fraudulent, deceptive, hurtful, and deadly, as the opposing entities presenting the lies know and intentionally go against the truth. Again, please understand and be mindful that a lie cannot exist without first having the truth. It is also imperative that you note and understand that lies regarding the Most High's truth is a criminal offense against his Torah, orchestrated with criminal intent to spiritually kill. First-degree spiritual murder, which is an offense that will not go unpunished. Do you recall or know that which was sent to steal, kill, and destroy? If you're unsure, stay with me, and you will see as all of this unfolds in this series. As I will demonstrate, we, all the inhabitants of the earth, once knew and had the truth and fell away from the truth, as we all, during this time of the salvation plan, went to sleep, being unaware, while some manufactured horrific lies, knowing the truth, Satan and his cohorts, and led others or the masses through the broad and wide gate and were totally deceived, followed and believed those horrific lies. Now, how do you feel about being lied to? Or better yet, how would you feel about being lied about? Would you rather know the truth or a lie? Be honest and be mindful that your end result will be fully shown as per the day of judgment from the answer that you give here. Again, the truth will always stand in the beginning and in the end. Society can only seem to grasp certain truths when it concerns them or you individually, and not when it concerns Yahuah, his instructions and covenant, which is what this entire spiritual and natural life was about. Are you getting it yet? Yes, the masses, which include you, are often biased with nepotism regarding matters of self and their natural family, natural gender, natural ethnicity, and natural sexual orientation, meaning that you will place those natural things first, as you knew not that we are all from the same one truth and spirit when operating in obedience. In other words, many of you are or were full of hate with biases against the one truth of the one body which you came from, which is spiritual before you were incarnated into a flesh and blood, natural body for the plan of salvation. Now, before you come at me and say, I didn't do those things, if you didn't, your ancestors of the spirit did, and you are an extension of them and left paying the penalty and price from their deeds. If you, also via your spiritual ancestors, had operated in Yahuah's spirit and truth, instituted in the beginning, then you and or your ancestors would have never been biased against your own body, spiritual body. Leviticus 19:18, Matthew 22:37-39, Mark 12:30-31, Ephesians 5:29-30. In other words, you and or your ancestors may have miserably failed the test and demonstrated how carnal-minded you are, as your heart was not pricked to see these truths to establish the correct foundation, to assist you in finding your Creator on time and in season to prevent judgment upon you. So, then comes nap time. Lights out, off to sleep, into spiritual darkness. The lies begin. As we discuss in the truth regarding the Garden of Eden, you will learn when the lights went out and the body went to sleep. A dream for Satan and his cohorts, Eve of the flesh and spirit, and a nightmare for Adam, Adam of the flesh and spirit. you will discover what the scriptures have been conveying to you all along, while many were still sleeping. Remember, Yahuwah's ways are not man's ways, and his thoughts are not man's thoughts, for his thoughts are higher than man's thoughts, and his ways are higher than man's ways. Isaiah 55, 8-9. The dream turns into a nightmare. While many were sleeping, they were living the dream, or were they? The dream they thought they were living makes a turn to become nothing but a nightmare, a world of division, full of hate, biases, spiritually corrupt, all led by principalities in high places for the love of power, rulership, money, accolades, and notoriety. This dream many thought they were living comes with a price, and all must be paid and fulfilled according to the scriptures. This is by no means a scare tactic. It's simply truth presented in a manner for enlightenment, for those that have the eyes to see and ears to hear. Follow and study along with this series to gain understanding of what happened, why, and when. Adam, Yahuwah's remnant from the chosen people, awaken. The alarm clock, the trumpet, and shofar goes off in your spirit. While many use the sound of the trumpet and shofar as something that is audible, it is not. The scriptures speak of this and many other aspects of natural elements as something spiritual. In other words, it is spiritual language using metaphors to speak to the prophets and sheep that will hear, understand, and obey the calling. Because of this, everyone doesn't hear the alarm clock. However, the remnant does. Adam, wake up, wake up. Our Father is calling for you. He's wondering where you are. Wake up. Why won't you wake up? While many think or hear this as something natural, it's just the opposite. It's all spiritual, further substantiating the great awakening, the resurrection, and fulfilling all in Yahuah's modim. So, while many have thought and believed on this event, as they may refer to as the rapture, that is not scriptural. So, while some will awaken before others, and some who were thought to be sleeping, they are spiritually dead. They will be resurrected with the truth in spirit and truth as it goes forth from Yahuwah's remnant, all according to Yahuwah's plan of salvation and his modim. The scriptures declare, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awaken, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Daniel 12:2. In addition, the message of what Luke 13:25-30 shares with us. Let's review Luke 13:25-30. When once the master of the house is risen up and has shut to the door, and you begin to stand without and to knock at the door, saying, Adonai, Adonai, open unto us. And he shall answer and say unto you, I know you not where you are. Then shall you begin to say, We have eaten and drunk in your presence, and you have taught in our streets. But he shall say, I tell you, I know you not where you are. Depart from me, all you workers of iniquity. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth when you shall see Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and all the prophets in the kingdom of Elohim, and you yourselves thrust out. And they shall come from the east and from the west and from the north and from the south, and shall sit down in the kingdom of Elohim. And behold, there are last which shall be first, and there are first which shall be last. While many glaze over the words of this passage, many don't grasp and consider what it's saying and why it's being said. Do you know who has been teaching you and what you were eating and drinking in their presence? My hope is that you will gain understanding from this series and know for certainty who you once served and who is calling for you to awaken in your understanding to serve the righteous one, Yahuah, and Yahusha within you. Shalom.